This morning, the clock is ticking down on Capitol Hill, which is 4 days to pass legislation to avoid a government shutdown. House Republicans unveiled a 6-month stopgap bill that would fund the government through September, but Democratic leaders making it clear they are not on board with this. A vote in the House is expected tomorrow. President Trump on Sunday warning a shutdown could happen, but expressing optimism the stopgap will pass.
Government shutdown, a phrase that conjures images of closed national parks, furloughed federal workers, and halted services. On March 9, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump shared his thoughts with Reuters on the possibility of another shutdown, saying it could happen but expressing optimism that it might be averted. He also blamed Democrats for this situation and stated that they want the shutdown to destroy this country.
Is there going to be a government shutdown at the end of this week?
Could happen. I mean, the Democrats want that. They want to destroy the country. So I can't tell you, but it could happen. It shouldn't have happened, and it probably won't. I think the CR is going to get passed. We'll see, but it could happen. You never know. The Democrats are out of control. You saw that the other night during the speech when they wouldn't stand up for two of the young ladies were killed by illegal aliens, one with the cancer, the young man with the cancer, and all you want to do is stand up and applaud the man and the boy, the young boy, and nobody's ever seen anything like that. They're out of control. They've lost their minds.
Let's dive into the story and discover what it could mean for the country. On Sunday, Trump addressed the looming threat of a government shutdown during a political event. He acknowledged the risk of a shutdown but stated, "I think we're going to avoid it." His comments come amid tense negotiations in Washington, where budget disagreements and policy standoffs could once again put the federal government on pause.
Is at center stage in Washington politics this weekend, with a government shutdown looming over a budget battle and President Trump's threat to unleash more tariffs on the nation's largest trade partners. CBS News correspondent Nicole Killian reports from West Palm Beach, Florida.
A potential government shutdown is looming this Friday. House Speaker Mike Johnson says a vote on a Republican-backed measure unveiled over the weekend will take place on Tuesday. But it remains to be seen whether GOP lawmakers can pass the continuing resolution along party lines or have to rely on Democratic votes.
A shutdown occurs when Congress fails to pass a budget or stopgap funding bill.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. The chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
The current budget negotiations are entangled in debates over spending cuts, defense budgets, and social programs.
That is very unheard of because usually Republicans need Democrats to fund the government. There's a large block of Republicans who refuse to vote for government funding bills, especially when it's these stopgap measures. So Speaker Johnson is trying to do that in his very, very thin majority when he can only lose one, maybe two votes, depending on the day, depending on attendance. But he is leaning very heavily into Donald Trump to do that.
Both Democrats and Republicans are digging in their heels, creating a high-stakes standoff.
We're actually just days away from a potential government shutdown. Republicans in Congress say they have a plan to prevent that from happening. House Speaker Mike Johnson is putting together what's called a continuing resolution, which would basically just keep the government open through September. The vote is expected Tuesday, and House Democrats, well, they're actually planning to oppose the plan.
Trump, no stranger to shutdown politics, hinted that Republicans are looking to hold their ground, potentially leveraging a shutdown to push for conservative priorities. However, he also expressed confidence in the negotiation process, suggesting that compromise might prevail.
Accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
If a shutdown occurs, it could impact millions of Americans. Federal workers may face furloughs or miss paychecks, and public services could be disrupted. The economy could take a hit, with national parks closed and services like passport processing delayed.
It is chaos, but it's chaos of Republicans' creation. I think it's so important for the American people to understand and realize we did not have to be here. These funding deadlines have been set for years. We know they're coming. It is so harmful to the American people. Cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicare, threatening Social Security, cutting veterans' benefits, while handing out tax breaks to their billionaire buddies, and Elon Musk is getting brand new contracts every week.
The last shutdown under Trump, from late 2018 into 2019, lasted 35 days and cost the economy billions.
But there have been so many past government shutdown fights. What lessons have Democrats learned from that?
Well, I mean, we are planning to oppose this CR. The American people want us to fight, and they're going to see us fight. We are using the tools of democracy to defend our democracy. We just need 3 courageous, patriotic Republicans to join us and prevent this disastrous continuing resolution.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
As budget negotiations continue, all eyes are on Congress. Trump's comments may influence Republican lawmakers, some of whom see him as a guiding force in the party.
We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
The Biden administration and Democratic leaders are also working to find a path forward, aiming to avoid the fallout of a shutdown. The coming weeks will be crucial. If negotiators can find common ground, a shutdown could be averted. But if not, Americans could once again find themselves caught in the middle of a political showdown.
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what.
Government shutdowns are a stark reminder of how delicate political negotiations can be. While Trump's optimism is a hopeful sign, the risk remains. We'll continue to monitor this situation closely, so stay tuned as the story unfolds.
Very immediately this week, the government is facing a deadline for a government shutdown. Just on Saturday, the House Speaker unveiled a stopgap measure in order to keep the government funded through the rest of the fiscal year. Your Assistant Whip, you're on the vote counting team, which means you've got the tough job of trying to wrangle up the votes. Do you have the votes to pass this with only Republicans?
I think we will have the votes. And let me be clear, this is a continuing resolution, which means that we're basically extending the funding that everyone voted for back in December. So there's no reason why the Democrats should not join us and make this bipartisan. There's no additional partisan policy that has been put in this bill. As a matter of fact, there's only positive increases in spending. We're talking about our veterans' health programs, increasing military pay for our young men and women who put their lives on the line, increasing spending for the WIC program, Women and Children Nutritional and Food Program. Those are things that everyone should be able to support. So I imagine that this bill will be able to pass with bipartisan support. That would be my prediction at this moment. And let's not forget the additional defense money that's
But are you going to need bipartisan support? That's the
American
question.
naval ships. I don't know. Well, we'll need bipartisan support in the Senate for sure, because you need 7 Democrat votes. It has to pass with 60 votes in the Senate. So it will have to pass with bipartisan support. And if it doesn't, then the Democrats, quite frankly, own this shutdown. But if you voted for it in December, there's no reason why you should not vote for it today. It is what they voted for under Joe Biden, with minor changes, and some of those I've explained to you. The shipbuilding that is incredibly important for America. We are so behind China when it comes to our naval ships and submarines. That is a must. And all those other programs for veterans and women and children. Why would anybody vote against it?
huge week when it comes to this. Let us see. You got a big job ahead of you this week. Congresswoman, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for joining us. Until next time, stay informed and keep asking questions.